Hi folks, it's Pete back with another video. I thought I would try and create a thread. Never tried to instigate one before, so thought I'd give it a go. It can only fail. The idea was given to me from a comment that Rob Walker made to one of my label sampler videos about a band whose name were Compost. You know, as I said, you just don't know what some bands were thinking of when they named themselves. Might have seemed funny on the night, but they've got to live with it. Anyway, what I thought the thread would be to show 5 Naff band names. But because I didn't want to be totally negative, I thought I'd show 5 really good names. So here goes, and we'll start with the good ones. And the first one, I've always loved this name, Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. This is their first album. Now it seems they got their name from a list of song lyrics and ideas that Andy McCuskey had on his bedroom wall, and it was also chosen so they wouldn't be thought of as a punk band at the time. But to me it sounds very proggy. Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, a bit pretentious, but hey, love it. Second one, Tangerine Dream. I've always loved that band name, and it goes with the music. This is the latest of the Sessions albums to be released on vinyl, Sessions 3, from the latest lineup of the band. And they got their name from a mishearing of the lyrics of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. The line that said Tangerine Dreams and Marmalade Skies. Tangerine Trees. You see, I'm doing the same. Tangerine Trees. And they heard it as Tangerine Dream. But this goes with a lot of their music, that name. Excellent. Third up, we have an album that I showed just recently, and that's The Art of Noise, the 80s band. And what is music but noise? But it's also an art form, so what better name than The Art of Noise for a band? This was thought up by Paul Morley, and it was taken from the essay The Art of Noises by Luigi Russolo. Oh, a great name for a band. Fourth up, and we have another one with a colouring title, Velvet, The Velvet Underground. Again, a name I've always loved. And this one was taken from the book The Velvet Underground by Michael Lee, about the secret sexual subculture of the early 1960s, and was suggested to the group by the minimalist Tony Conrad. And I think this title fits their music as well, because they go from some very beautiful numbers to some very odd and weird, out there numbers, and some fairly decadent one like Venus in Furs. So I think the Velvet Underground fits all of that pretty well. And finally, for the good names, one that shows that one letter can make all the difference. And that for me is The Byrds. This is the Fifth Dimension album. I mean, here in UK we had a band called The Byrds. Was it Ron Wood's band? But spelled B-I-R-D-S, which, to be honest, it's a fairly naff name for me. Especially as bird was slang for a woman. So it never really worked, but change the I to a Y and somehow it becomes cool. Well, to me anyway. I've always loved that name, the birds. Superb. Right, on to the Naff ones. And we start with one of my favourite bands, Hot Tuna. Terrible name for a band. I suppose we should be thankful that initially they wanted to call themselves Hot Shit, but the record company persuaded them not to. I wish they took it further and persuaded them not to do Hot Tuna as well. But it seems the name came from the first line of the blues song Keep On Trucking Mama, which has the line, what's that smell like, fish, pretty baby? And the answer is, obviously, according to Yoma Kokinen, Hot Tuna. But no, it's a pretty naff name, to be honest. Next up, we have a name that probably goes with the music of the band, Throbbing Gristle. This is their Heathen Earth album, superb album. There you go. Now, I mean, for a band that's got songs like Hamburger Lady, etc., and some of their other music, yeah, the ugliness of the name goes with that music, but to be honest, it's a horrible name, Throbbing Gristle. It's not one I like. And in fact, I think the title of this album, Heathen Earth, would have made a far better name for the band. It has that darkness in it, while not sounding as Throbbing Gristle. Next up, and we have one that not many people probably have heard of, Buttered Bacon Biscuits. What a naff name, Buttered Bacon Biscuits. This is the only album they ever did. Now, they're an Italian band, but that's no excuse for naming themselves not that. They were made up from various Italian bands, I think, and they did this one album, which is in that sort of a bit of Zepp, a bit of Purple, sounds a bit like Government Mule. It's that American bluesy rock. It's an excellent album, really is. It's if you like that type of music, seek this one out. It came out, I think, in 2009 on Jolly Roger Records. But Buttered Bacon Biscuits? What were they thinking? Finally, well, maybe a bit controversial, but I don't know. I could have picked three from the biggest bands from the 60s, whose names have become synonymous with the bands, and it's gone beyond good or bad, I suppose. But when you sit down and think about it, the names are fairly naff. And the one I've gone for this time is the Beach Boys. Great name for them when they probably started off as a boy surf rock band. Would have been fine. But as they moved away from surf and hot rod numbers, became less relevant. As they went into doing more intricate, serious music, it didn't seem to fit them. And then definitely as they got older and were still on stage calling themselves the Beach Boys. Nah, sorry, doesn't work. See, choosing a better name when you start off, you've got to think that you might have a decent length career. This is the superb early comp Spirit of America on Capitol. Excellent compilation. So that's my 5 great names and 5 naff band names. Have you got any favourites or any you hate? Let's do a video and let me know. So I hope you enjoyed that, and for once Hi folks, I just noticed, I wonder how many other people did. I only did 4 of the Naff album band names. So I'm going to Lally, getting too old for this. So I've pulled another one, and this is Anderson, Wakeman, Bruford and Howe, or Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman and Howe, you see. I know there are bands like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young and Emerson, Lake and Palmer, where the names sound like the company of solicitors or whatever, but more so than those, this lot sound like a bunch of solicitors, I'm afraid. I know at the time they were obviously all ex-members of Yes, couldn't use the Yes name when they did this album, but I remember, I'm sure, reading at the time that they were going to call themselves The Affirmative, which would have been a decent name for a bunch of ex-Yes musicians. But unfortunately they went with Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman and Howe. Sorry, it's a mouthful and a Naff name. Sorry that I forgot this one. I'll add this on to the end of the video. One of these days I'll get things right. Cheers. Bye.